But the range test on this dual battery wired bike, it just took so long. It went so far. It took so long to kill those batteries that it turned me from citizen into senior citizen. Look at this. I feel like I aged riding that bike. What's going on, everybody? Thought I'd give you some more wired content. This is the Wired Freedom. This is the new version, right? They gave me this prototype bike to kind of show everyone what's coming next. They made a whole bunch of changes to it. I already did a video explaining all the changes. You can check my playlist for that, but they did like a through axle on the front, stronger motor. This thing goes 40 miles an hour, no problem. Stronger controller. It's 45 amp controller now. They added a second battery pack to the bike for free. I mean, they didn't up the price at all. It's still $19.99. They put a whole nother battery pack in the rear rack, 60 volt, 15 amp hour, and it's 60 volt, 20 amp hour inside the frame. So you've got 2,100 watt hours on this bike now. I'll link it below. You know, if you use the link, it saves you 50 bucks. It's $19.99 plus the shipping. So it's probably gonna be like $22.50-ish maybe out the door. You know, they just put in a tariff in place that takes effect in, I think June. You might end up starting to see price of e-bikes and e-bike parts go up. So if you've got a bike that you're eyeing, you might want to pull the trigger on it before prices start going up. Right now, this hasn't changed. They kept the price the same. I don't know if they'll change it or not, but since I'm the only one that's got access to this newer version right now, I thought I'd give you just more info on it, and I'm gonna do a range test. Okay, they added a whole nother battery pack. How much more range does that give you on this beast? We'll find out today. I'm gonna go out and just ride it like I normally ride it, and we'll see how many miles we get out of this thing. It's gonna be hard to keep it under wraps. You just wanna go fast on this thing because it's so quick. Anyway, let's go ride it. Enough talk. Let's ride this beast. 3,000 watts. Yes, you heard that. 60 volt battery, so 67 is like the peak charge on it. You got a 45 amp controller that peaks at like 48 amps. So yeah, you're going over 3,000 watts on this thing. It's pretty crazy. Let's go out here and start our range test. I've already gone 5 miles. We got a nice long straight stretch here. Let's get up to speed. My plan for this range test is I'm just gonna go out and have fun on this bike and ride it like I would normally ride it. So that means I'm gonna, you know, pedal when I feel like pedaling, and I'll probably keep it in pedal assist 2 or 3. And then you always have access to the throttle, you know, at full blast whenever you want. So whenever I wanna go do a burst of power, we'll use that. So we're gonna end up using it up pretty quick. All right, let's start putting in some miles. I'll check back in as I see our voltage start to go down. So I'm at 6.7 miles and it's at 65 volts. 67 was full charge. So we'll check back in when something happens. I've been keeping it out on the country roads here for a while, but I may have to go in town and operate at low speed for a while. We're up to 15.7 miles and I'm down to 64 volts under throttle pressure here. My motor temperature is at 210. It's nice they give you the little motor temperature gauge there so you can know if you're overheating this thing, which I've never overheated one. So I don't know what happens, if it just shuts down or what. I believe the high temperature cutoff, like if it gets over like 350 degrees, I think it shuts down, but I've never really gotten close to that. I've got the pedal assist set, so 2 allows me to pedal around 15 miles an hour, 3 keeps me around 22, 24 miles an hour. And then I've just been holding the throttle. Most of my riding in this 16 miles so far has been like 30 plus miles an hour. Yeah. We'll do our off-road loose gravel hill climb test with it and see what happens. I'm sure it'll be fine. This thing, 3,000 watts in the rear motor. It should be plenty to get you wherever you want to go. And now I'm all muddy. I don't want to get too muddy. When you're going 40, the mud flies off your tires. All right, here we go. I mean, wow. That was so easy. Completely effortless, no pedaling. It didn't spin out or anything. Now on this bike, I don't feel completely out of place on the Greenway because it does look like a bicycle. It doesn't look like it goes as fast as it does. And you can set, you know, the pedal assist here to not be outrageous and just kind of casually pedal. You don't have to go 40 all the time. And you can modulate the throttle. I got a little bit of throttle right now. I can hold 13 miles an hour. Oh, I have a bell. Thanks. Everybody's always pretty polite on the Greenway. I mean, I usually give them the ding of the bell and wave, and no one's ever really Karen'd me on the Greenway ever. Yeah. Probably because whenever I'm passing somebody, I'm going like 10, 12 miles an hour. I'm never passing them at like 30. All the roads around me, there's no shoulder and there's no sidewalk, and they're 45 miles an hour. So for me to get like from my house into town, I have to go on greenways and trails and things like this otherwise I'm in 45 mile an hour traffic. I can't do that on a bike that goes 20, you know? On a class 2, 20 mile an hour e-bike, I'll get killed. Now my watt meter is right here. So pedaling, it's giving me right now like 500 watts. Watch when I hit the gas. You ready? Hopefully you can see it. It jumped up to 3145. Over 3,000 when you give it the juice, baby. Well, now I am going this way. Right up to speed. Right in the flow of traffic. This one does town traffic with ease because it's all like 25 mile an hour in here. So you can do that so easy on this bike. This is one that could be like an actual replacement for a vehicle because you can operate at low speed vehicle speeds. Now this should be interesting because it's 35 mile an hour and it's an uphill. See if I can maintain. We're at 39, 38. I mean, I'm still going the speed limit, so nobody's passing me. 37 uphill. All right, so we are about midway through our journey, I'll say, because I'm down to 58 volts. So that tells me I'm at about half of this battery capacity. 60 volt system, 58 volts right now. We're probably about half battery left. And I would say I've probably done about 20 miles of really high speed, 30, 40 plus miles an hour. And then I've probably done another 20 miles of just, you know, casual riding like this, where I'm going about 21, 22 miles an hour, just cruising on these backcountry roads where, you know, it's only eating up 300 watts, just cruising at 21 miles an hour. So I'm at 42 miles right now. 42 miles, I've got half my battery left. This is shaping up to be a pretty long range, and I have not been conserving battery. I've been very generous with the throttle. Like I said, I'm riding this how I normally would. So about 20 miles of just steady cruising at 20 miles an hour, another 20 miles of really hitting it hard. It hasn't lost a step. I mean, there's still a ton of power behind this throttle. It just, you can still run it up into the 40s easy. Folks, we're on day 2 of this range test on the Wired Freedom. Much cloudier, windier today. Hopefully the rain will hold out and I can get this completed. We are starting the day at 45.8 miles. That's how many miles we put on yesterday. 45.8. We're at 58-ish volts, so about half of the battery capacity remaining. I don't think it's going to get to 80. But I mean, we'll see. I'm gonna guess maybe in the 60s, low 70s, possibly. I don't know, we'll see. But I've noticed a couple things out riding this Freedom. Number one is the brakes are so much stronger than the previous model. These 4-piston caliper Gemma brakes, Gemma, I don't know how you say it, but they are noticeably stronger brakes. I like that a lot. And the power, I hate to say it for everyone that owns a previous model of the Wired bikes. This one's, it's more powerful. I'm noticing the power. They changed up the windings in the motor to give it more power. They put a stronger controller on it. You feel it. The more I ride it, the more I notice it and the more I feel it. This version is more powerful and faster. And obviously it's gonna have a much longer range with this whole additional extra 60 volt, 15 amp hour battery pack on there. And for those of you who don't know how that works, you got a battery in the frame, battery in the rear rack, and then there's a battery balancer like inside the frame there where they're connected together, and as you ride around it will draw equally from the battery, so it's drawing them down basically at the same rate. So right now there's no switch or anything to turn any of the batteries off. It's just going to equally draw from both. And actually let's try and look and see and make sure. So it says 57.6 volts on the screen. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, power off. I'm going to take the frame battery out. Is that the right key? That's the right key. Okay, so frame battery's out. We'll just set it there on the seat. Let's turn it back on, because you can run this bike off of either battery. So, 57.6 it says. That's what our rear battery's at, 57.6 volts. Okay, let's power back off. I want to put the frame battery back in. We'll check what the voltage is on this one. Okay, let's undo the rear one. So you key in here, and then you grab hold of it and slide it out like this. There, so we'll just leave it disconnected like that. Let's turn it back on and see what the front battery is at. 57.6 volts, so they are identical. It's been drawing them down the same. They're both at 57.6 volts. So, there you go. Equally draws from both battery packs. And if you, for whatever reason, didn't want to take the rear one with you on whatever ride because you wanted to trim the weight, because this bike weighs 105 pounds, so you only have to ride with one battery. One battery will power the bike, and you'll still have plenty of power. It'll still be just as powerful. So there you go. Let's get out on this thing, finish up this range test today, see how far we're going to go. I'm going to try to do kind of the same thing today where I put in some casual riding, maybe 20 miles an hour-ish, and also some high-speed stuff, 40+ mile per hour stuff to take advantage of the power here. And I'll check back in as we get a little bit lower. All right, we're at 65 miles, 54.4 volts. I'm thinking this thing's probably going to cut out around 51, 52 volts. So I'm going to head towards home just so I'm in the right neighborhood. I don't want to have to pedal a 105-pound bike home. So we're going to go get closer to my neighborhood. But you can still see there's a ton of power behind this throttle still, even after 65 miles. Okay, folks, she died on me. We were going 30+ miles an hour, and then boom, it just cut out. It just, no real warning, it just died. So I must have hit like the low voltage cutoff thing. I'm at 51.2 volts, and I covered 71.6 miles. 71.6 miles. And it's dead. I mean, I'm in pill assist 3, throttle, nothing. We got no juice. So, it looks like this is now powered by a Citizen, and we're gonna have to pedal the 105-pound bike home. Luckily I'm only like a mile from home, so it won't be too awful bad. But on flat ground here, yeah, I mean, I can pedal it. It's not crazy easy. You feel the weight. I mean, these things are not easy to pedal without power. The part I don't like about range tests, when I don't plan it where I can end really close to the house. So there you go. That's just one piece of data for you. Me riding this thing as I would normally would. I didn't want to do it throttle only because no one really rides like that. And I didn't want to do it in like a really low pedal assist because nobody rides like that. When you get a wired Freedom, you are going to ride around pedal assist 2, 3 probably, some good speed, and you're going to hit the throttle. You're going to blast the throttle all the time because it's so much fun. That's how I ride. So that's how I did this range test. All right, we made it back home to the garage, safe and sound. You know, I was a relatively young man when I started this range test. But the range test on this dual battery wired bike, it just took so long. It went so far. It took so long to kill those batteries that it turned me from citizen into senior citizen. Look at this. I feel like I aged riding that bike. Thanks for watching.